What's up? So we have talked a little bit about King Narses in live arena, and I got a lot of questions asking me if they still should pull for him, and many people are concerned that he's gonna be great in live arena, but not that big deal in classic arena. And today in this video we're gonna talk about classic arena offense with King Narses, and how he's gonna change the meta and the defense teams in classic arena. But I would definitely say off the bat that he's good on live arena, but the main part where he really is good at is actually gonna be classic arena offense, because there you can decide what teams you want to fight against, and the best defense team is of course Taras, Mariska, UDK, and then you add one support champion to that, which is going to be either Siphi or Grixia. And Taras is incredibly hard to kill because of his passive, and Narses A2 actually ignores both shield and strengthen, which Mariska does, and also ignores Taras passive. He has the highest damage against Taras, higher than Georgit or any other champion, even though he doesn't have the highest damage overall against other stuff. But because Taras and Mariska are so OP, that's all you're gonna see in defense. And now with King Narses, we're gonna see a massive change in the meta in classic arena defense, because you're not gonna be able to run the same defense that was meta until this point, even though outside of King Narses it's definitely the best defense team, and the second best defense team without Taras and Mariska is gonna be like 100 trillion times worse than that. But let's actually see how it looks like in practice, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about what kind of builds you would or what kind of teams you would run King Narses with, and about the future of defense. Let me quickly show you that my King Narses build is good, but you can have way better builds than that. He has like a good substats on basically every piece, but I am missing the ascension on both chest and boots, and I am running a speed boots. Also, he's not empowered and doesn't have blessing, and if you can get even 1-star blessing, that's gonna add you like 7000 HP, so we can easily get like 7500 HP, 15 speed and 38 crit damage. Let's actually see how he does against Taras, which is unkillable god and completely dominates classic arena. I don't know if I'm too high, if I... Wait, did I actually drop a points a little bit? Can we find any... Okay, that's a good example. So this is the setup that I'm currently running, and I'll talk about the different things that you could run him with later. But basically, he's gonna need some kind of protection. He's not like Taras. You definitely need to have a Necret or Lockout or something else to protect him. But let's just do one battle full auto and see what happens. One issue that I encountered in many fights is that I barely lack the damage to actually one-shot the... Oh, they have stone skin. Let me cancel the auto. Actually, never mind, it's fine. Siphi was only one piece stone skin. So, one issue that I encountered a few times, like here, I barely lack the damage to kill that Taras. But like I mentioned, my Narses doesn't have blessing and is on speed boots. The top accounts are not gonna have this issue, however. They are completely gonna one-shot everything on the first AoE nuke. But as you can see with this setup, even if we quite didn't have enough damage to actually finish off the Taras, but we did get rid of Siphi, and it was basically full auto. I kind of panicked a little bit and cancelled it, because they were in stone skin and I didn't want to nuke in stone skin. But this is a massive improvement to what I was doing in the past. It's very safe, full auto fight. I don't waste any time choosing what I do, and it's relatively hassle-free. And we're talking about the Ukraine duo defense. This is the best defense in the game until this point. And because of this, people are gonna have to run other defense teams. You're not gonna be able to run this anymore. I'm sure there will be many people running it on next reset, but we're gonna see less and less of it in the future over time, and people have to figure out new defense teams. Even what I'm running right now and have been doing for the past month, which has performed very well for me, was Judges, UDK, Rotos and Wukong. Narses does also have Block Revive on his A3, and the Wukong was specifically to remove buffs from Taras so that he doesn't do huge AoEs. I don't think I can run the same defense, but it's a lot bigger issue for those people that were running Taras and Marichka. Now, if we quickly go through the main issues, Narses gets the increased damage if the enemies have Strengthen or Shield, and of course Marichka does both of them, and people use a lot of bolster sets, so I would expect that we're gonna see a lot less bolster and more stone skin, and we're still gonna see Taras and Marichka. I think they're still probably gonna be in every single team, but they will have to do something different to counter Narses. I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen. I don't really want to predict. Only thing I can say that people have to use new defense teams. I was kind of speculating that maybe you would run a second nuker with Taras that Narses doesn't counter. Maybe something like Stone Skin Mortal could make a comeback or something else. But yeah, I can't predict the future. I don't know what teams people are gonna run. But since people can't run Taras and Marichka anymore, even though like I said, I think people are mostly gonna run them, but some top accounts, they might run something completely different, and that opens up the possibility for other champions that are unviable against Taras and Marichka. Maybe if people go with Rotos, I can make a comeback with Kala. You never know what's gonna happen, or something else. And another thing that I'm thinking about is that we might see a lot of defense teams without any nukers at all, even though Narses kind of gets his cooldowns back with the Ankara A1, but maybe people are gonna be using Lockout in teams a lot more, maybe even instead of a nuker, or they will have a nuker and Lockout instead of the old UDK Taras Marichka. So if you're gonna push on the next Platinum Arena reset, now is the time to figure out a new defense team. I'm warning you beforehand, I had like 1 minute fight against that guy. The top accounts are gonna have a 10-second fight against this guy. You're not gonna be able to run this defense anymore, not without changing it a lot at least. As far as the offense goes, I think people are gonna be coming up with new strategies every other day for the next couple of months. But the setup that I'm running right now, which you kind of saw that Lydia made a comeback in PvP, Lydia has actually been used in the past, but if you want to know the setup that I'm planning to run on next reset, I'm probably gonna have a few other ones as well, but this is currently what I'm running with, and I'm planning to try to auto most of the fights. So we have Narses with basically the default AI, and Necret is kind of whatever. On Ankara, I have a little bit twist that I disabled the A2, which gives you shield and strengthen and turn meter. It's very good, but since I'm doing the fights full auto, I rather it do the A1 and get Narses cooldowns back in case I don't have enough damage to kill the tanky teams. But if I have to use the A2, then I'm just gonna use it on manual. And then I'm running the Lydia, which you kind of saw was because of Marichka passive. And basically the idea behind this team is that Narses is gonna have enough damage to one-shot the enemy team, even the Marichka, Siphi and Taras, hopefully. At least in future, when I get the Blessing and Ascension. But Marichka passive isn't gonna activate with Lydia passive up. Basically Lydia can die for all I care. She's just there for the passive and the shield. Now as far as other kind of setups that you would run with Narses. You could run him with Yumeko or Kaimar or anything like that, but I think Yumeko would be super good, because not only can he get his cooldowns back if you don't have enough damage to finish off the fight, or she might get her own cooldowns reset by Ankura and do an endless loop of that, but she will also lock down the enemy, and that means that the Taras isn't able to do his AoE, which will easily one-shot Narses. The only way to survive it is by Necret or some other BS. And then something else basically related to that if you don't have Necret, then you could run Helicat or basically any other champion with block damage. Helicat might not be the best option because he's gonna do counter attacks and take a little bit of time, but one champion that I have seen lots of people using with him is going to be Emic Drunkheart. Emic has both the unkillable buff for your team, and then he also resets your cooldowns by 1 turn, but something like that. Roshguard, Emic, Nicholas, basically any champion with block damage, you might consider running those with Narses to avoid the Taras nuke, and then against other teams you kind of have to figure it out, and you can't even properly figure it out yet because we don't know what the meta defense teams are going to be. The only thing I can tell you is that they are definitely not going to be what they are right now, and they're gonna change in future. I think I might actually run double nuker on this reset, either with Rotos and Narses or Rotos and Mortu, but I haven't fully decided on my team yet, and we will see about that. But I kind of wanted to make a quick video to prepare you guys for Classic Arena reset and do one short video for a change, so people that hate my long videos have something else to see. But that's pretty much all I have to say. I will definitely do a follow-up video after the Classic Arena reset, after we see what kind of defense and offense teams people are gonna run, but I'm gonna guarantee you that they're gonna change for next week and the week after, and people are not gonna figure out the best possible meta stuff on the first couple days, and it's gonna take weeks and months to develop. But the nice thing here is that we finally dethroned Taras and Marichka, and maybe you didn't go for Narses, and you might be sad about it that you missed this opportunity. But even if you don't have these two champions, their main thing is to counter the Ukraine duo, and if other people can counter the Ukraine duo, then you might be able to attack other defense teams with other champions like Gala. So I feel like this is a good day for everybody, not just the White King mains. But that's it for this video. Have a nice day and see ya.